Welcome to Rare X Coins, YouTube channel where ordinary coins turn into extraordinary treasures. Today, you're going to discover $6 that could shock you right out of your seat. Some of these coins, if sitting unnoticed in your collection or pocket change, could be worth over 300,000. That's dollars, not a typo. And no, you don't need to be a millionaire to own one. Even no. We're about to uncover rare design, mysterious mint error, and stories that tie American history right into the palm of your hand. And trust me, every single coins we're about to explore hides a surprise that could leave you speechless. Now, before we jump into the first quarter, take a moment to look at your change jar, your dresser drawer, even that old coffee can in the garage. Because by the end of this video, you'll be racing to check if your coin matches one of these rare, mind-blowing finds. Now, I'm ready when you are. Go ahead and send me the first coin's picture or details, and I'll start crafting its story with all the drama, value, and excitement packed in. Now take a closer look at this coin. At first glance, it looked like any regular quarter, but don't be fooled. What you're looking at is a 1965 Washington quarter, and it just might be one of the most shocking secrets in America coinage history. Here's why. 1965 was a critical year for us coins production. The country was facing a massive coins shortage. Silver prices were skyrocketing, and the US Mint had to make a fast and bold decision. They stopped making quarters out of 90% silver and switched to a copper-nickel-vlad composition. In other words, silver was gone officially. But here's the twist, not all 1965 quarters followed the rules. Some were accidentally or perhaps mysteriously struck on leftover 1964 silver blank. These Silver Planet 1965 quarters are unbelievably rare. And if you happens to be one of them, it could be worth a hard-hopping $350, $0 or more to the right collector. Let that sink in. You could be holding a coin that looks completely ordinary, sounds like pocket change, but is actually rarer than gold in this condition. Now, let's take a moment to look at the specific features of this coin right here. The date is clear, 1965. The classic profile of George Washington still stands proud on the obverse with liberty across the top, and in God we trust etched near the jawline. The condition circulated, yes, but still showing strong detail in the hair and cheek. That tells us it's been through the world but still has plenty of its story to tell. But here's where things get interesting. Collectors, check these 1965 quarter very carefully for weight. A regular clad quarter weight 5.67 g. But if you put it on a scale and it reads around G 6.25 g, you just hit the jackpot. Some of these Silver Planet 1965 quarters have no visible difference, but under a trained eye and with a quick weight test, you'll uncover a coin that isn't supposed to exist. And guess what? Only a tiny handful have ever been authenticated. One was auctioned by Heritage Auction and reached an eye-watering $360, $0 in near uncirculated condition. That's nearly the price of a brand new house. Even coins in slightly circulated shape, like the one we're looking at here, could easily fetch $20,000 to $45, $0 depending on who's bidding. Now think about this. Most Americans never even check. These rare errors slip through the cracks during one of the most turbulent minting transitions in US history, and they're still out there hidden in drawers, jars, or collection like yours. So, here's what to do next. If you've got a 1965 quarter, put it on a jewelry scale. If it's closer to 6.25 grams and it has that silver ring when you drop it on a table, don't spend it, don't even breathe on it. Get it authenticated immediately, because what seems like a dull, worn coin might be the last silver secret of American currency. And if that doesn't give you chills, wait until you see what's coming next. Ready? Let's move on the second coin. Next up. Now let's move on to the second coin, and trust me, this one is just as chilling. Take a closer look at this quarter right here. The date reads 1968. At first glance, it looks completely normal. Nothing flashy, nothing unusual. Just another Washington quarter that millions of people have spent without a second thought. But don't let that fool you. Because 1968 sits right in the middle of one of the most dangerous and confusing transition periods in U.S. coin history. And that's exactly where rare mistakes were born. By 1968, silver was supposed to be completely gone from quarters. The U.S. Mint had already switched to copper-nickel-clad coins a few years earlier. Officially, no silver quarters should exist after 1964. But history has a habit of breaking its own rules. Behind the scenes, the Mint was still dealing with leftover silver planchets, experimental strikes, and intense pressure to meet demand. During this chaos, a few 1968 quarters were accidentally struck on 90% silver planchets, coins that were never meant to exist. And that mistake created a modern-day legend. A genuine 1968 silver planchet Washington quarter looks almost identical to a regular one. Same design, same date, same wear patterns. But the value, that's where things get unbelievable. Collectors don't start by looking, they start by weighing. A normal 1968 clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams. But a silver planchet version comes in at around 6.25 grams. That tiny difference could mean a difference of tens of thousands of dollars. And here's the scary part, most people never check. These coins don't scream rare. They don't shine like proof coins. They don't look special in a pocket full of change. But under the right test, they become one of the most valuable error quarters of the modern era. Authenticated examples of 1968 silver planchet quarters have sold for $20,000, $35,000, and even higher, depending on condition and certification. In near-uncirculated condition, prices can climb dramatically when collectors start competing. And unlike classic 1800s coins, these were released into circulation. That means, yes, there is still a chance one is sitting unnoticed in a jar, drawer, or inherited collection right now. Let's talk about the design for a moment. On the obverse, George Washington's profile remains bold, with liberty across the top and "In God We Trust" resting near the neckline. The 1968 strike quality is often strong, especially from Philadelphia issues, making details in the hair and jawline stand out beautifully, even on circulated examples. But again, looks alone won't save you. The real test is the scale. And the sound. A silver quarter makes a sharp, high-pitched ring when gently tapped on a hard surface. A clad quarter sounds dull and flat. If your 1968 quarter rings like silver and weighs heavy in your hand, stop everything. Do not clean it. Do not spend it. And definitely do not assume it's fake. Get it authenticated immediately. Because what feels like an ordinary coin could secretly be a five-figure treasure, born from one of the most chaotic moments in U.S. minting history. And if you think that is impressive, the next quarter we're about to reveal has a design twist so rare, so controversial, that collectors have paid jaw-dropping prices just to own one example. Ready? Let's move on to the third coin, fire. Now moving on to our next coin, the 1970 Washington quarter. At first glance, you might think it's just another quarter, something you hand over at the grocery store without a second thought. But let me tell you, this coin is hiding a story that could leave even seasoned collectors stunned. 1970 was a year of transition at the U.S. Mint, and the Denver Mint, the D mark you see just below Washington's bust, was producing quarters in record numbers. But here, where it gets interesting, some of these coins were struck twice, misaligned, or with an off-center die, creating what collectors call mint errors. Take a closer look at this coin. Notice the date, the D mint mark, and the spacing around George Washington's profile. Everything looks normal until you flip it over. Check the eagle on the reverse. See how part of it seems stretched, or maybe the lettering seems slightly uneven. That's the telltale sign of a die shift error, and believe it or not, these mistakes can turn a simple quarter into a collectible worth tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors prize these errors because they're like fingerprints. No two are exactly alike. And here's a tip. Even if your coin looks circulated or worn, an error like this can skyrocket its value. Some 1970D die shift quarters have sold for $5,000 to $25,000, depending on severity and condition. That's a huge jump from the quarter you probably paid 25 cents for. Now here's the challenge. Not every 1970D quarter is an error, so you'll need a sharp eye. Look for uneven rims, doubling of letters, or the off-centered strike we just mentioned. A quick comparison with a normal 1970D quarter will make the difference obvious. And if you do spot one, don't panic sell. Get it authenticated by a professional grading service. This is the coin that could quietly turn your collection into a treasure chest. And remember, just like the 1965 silver quarter we saw earlier, these rare 1970D errors slipped through unnoticed, buried in jars, drawers, or even loose change in your wallet. So, take a moment and check your coins, because one glance might just reveal a piece of history worth more than you ever imagined. Ready to see the next mind-blowing quarter? Hold onto your seats because the surprises are only getting bigger. Let's dive into our third coin. We are diving into one of the most astonishing and mind-blowing stories in the world of numismatics, the 1985 D Washington quarter dollar. This isn't just any ordinary coin. This ultra-rare specimen has the power to transform fortunes overnight. Yes, you heard that right. Owning the right piece of this quarter could make you a billionaire if you ever decide to sell it under the right circumstances. The Washington Quarter series has long been a favorite among collectors, but the 1985 D stands out for its sheer rarity and incredible market value. Most people dismiss it because, on the surface, it's just another quarter minted in Denver with the familiar D mint mark. However, what makes this coin extraordinary is its scarcity in specific minting conditions. Over the decades, most of these quarters circulated heavily, lost their original luster, and ended up in change jars or cash registers. But the few that survived, especially in very dirty or unclean condition, are treasures waiting to be discovered. Let's talk about its history for a moment. The year 1985 was not particularly remarkable in U.S. minting at first glance. Millions of Washington quarters were struck for general circulation, yet mint errors, unusual die patterns, and unique, where marks turned a tiny percentage of them into modern-day legends. The D mint mark indicates that this coin came from the Denver Mint, a facility known for producing coins in massive quantities, but also occasionally creating pieces that defy all odds in value. Collectors around the world constantly hunt for coins like this because its rarity is subtle, almost invisible to the casual observer, but extreme in its impact. Now imagine holding this quarter in your hand. On the outside, it might look like a common coin, scratched, worn, even dirty. Yet, experts in coin valuation can look past the grime and immediately recognize its potential. This isn't just about numismatic beauty. This is about the hidden worth that can turn ordinary pennies into life-changing assets. Dirty condition, perfect. Believe it or not, coins that show signs of circulation but remain structurally intact can sometimes command even higher prices than pristine examples. The market is unpredictable, and collectors value these battle-worn coins for their authenticity and story. You might be wondering, how much is this coin worth? While estimates vary based on condition, provenance, and market demand, a genuine, ultra-rare 1985 D quarter in exceptional or unique condition could reach astronomical figures. We're talking hundreds of thousands to potentially millions of dollars in today's market. And if you stumble upon one that exhibits an unusual die error or misprint combined with its dirty but intact state, you could be staring at an unimaginable treasure worth more than most people see in a lifetime. The real magic of the 1985 D Washington quarter isn't just its monetary value, it's its potential to create instant wealth. Imagine discovering this coin tucked away in an old collection, a dusty jar, or an inherited stash. For most people, a 1985 quarter is pocket change. For the few who understand its significance, it's a ticket to financial freedom. This is why collectors treat these quarters like gold, guarding them carefully and waiting for the perfect moment to bring them to market. One right transaction, one auction, one savvy investor, and fortunes can change overnight. But here's the secret you must know. Do not sell hastily. This coin has the power to change your life, but only if you approach it strategically. Selling it below market value or to someone who doesn't understand its rarity is a missed opportunity. Patience is key in the coin world. Some of the most valuable coins in history were ignored for decades before their true worth was recognized. The 1985 D Washington quarter is no different. It demands respect, careful handling, and wise timing. Collectors are particularly fascinated by the coin, dirty condition. Yes, a grimy, circulated coin might seem less appealing at first glance, but it tells a story of survival through decades of daily life. This visual evidence of age and circulation can increase the coin's allure because it proves authenticity. When coins are overly cleaned or polished, they often lose value because collectors prize originality. A dirty, genuine 1985 D can be far more desirable than a shiny, artificially restored piece. What makes this quarter even more captivating is its place in the broader Washington quarter series. While many coins from the 1980s are considered common, certain mint errors and subtle anomalies in the 1985 D production run have turned it into an ultra-rare collector's gem. Small variations in die strikes, double die impressions, or slight misalignments can transform an otherwise ordinary coin into a coveted treasure. This is the reason why dealers and collectors alike scour estate sales, old coin boxes, and even parking lots to find these hidden gems. In terms of investment, coins like the 1985 D Washington quarter are not just collectibles, they're financial instruments. Unlike stocks or bonds, tangible coins hold intrinsic historical value and scarcity. The market for rare coins has seen exponential growth over the last few decades, and ultra-rare pieces like this one sit at the very top of the hierarchy. They are often traded in private auctions, high-end collections, or specialized coin shows where prices can soar beyond imagination. One correct sale could turn a dusty quarter into a financial empire. For those who dream of becoming billionaires overnight, this coin represents the ultimate treasure map. The thrill is not only in owning a rare coin, but also in the knowledge that you hold a piece of history with enormous potential. Stories of ordinary people discovering rare coins in drawers, jars, or inherited collections are legendary, and this 1985 D Washington quarter fits perfectly into that narrative. The power of this coin lies not only in its rarity, but in the life-changing opportunity it represents. Finally, the key takeaway for anyone watching this video: treasure every discovery. Don't overlook the unassuming, dirty quarter lying in your pocket or on your desk. One glance might make it seem insignificant, but the 1985 D Washington quarter teaches us that true value is often hidden in plain sight. If you are lucky enough to hold one, handle it with care, research its provenance, and never underestimate its potential. This coin is more than metal. It's a legacy, a fortune, and a dream all rolled into a small, unassuming circle of history. So remember, collectors, keep your eyes open, respect the coins, and never rush into selling. The 1985 D Washington quarter dollar in dirty condition is a modern treasure of unimaginable worth, a piece that could change your life forever if discovered, preserved, and valued correctly. Treat it wisely, because some coins don't just hold history, they hold the power to rewrite your future. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about coin values, hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting tips, and let me know in the comments if you found any old quarter worth big money.